All right. Comic book pros, yet again, they go through this like in like month cycles where they start getting irate and upset and try to demonize um, like members of independent comic book, Comicsgate, and such because of what they supposedly stand for. And yes, it comes with this share of buzz terms, racist, misogynist, hate group, all of this other bull crap. And obviously a lot of that hatred exists because they what worked on their industry and people in their industry, like definitely the Gossip Girl stuff, outing of people, trying to undercut them and have them be out of jobs because everybody cares so much about social justice, right? That communities, particularly the Comicsgate community, which kind of started as more of a critical group, and then that critical group turned into people that decided to produce their own material. And what's pissing them off is how lucrative it is for a lot of them, those guys that are the creators, right? We've obviously, you see me appear with a friend of mine and Ethan Van Sciver on his podcast or his shows. Rather, he's appeared on my podcast twice, if I'm not mistaken. He's been on For Kid and Sake. We've talked about this, and I encourage you to go to look up his story. But, his Cyber Fraud comic has made, literally, I believe it all included probably even multiple millions, but certainly with Wreck Planet and everything, there's millions of dollars in crowdfunding on Indiegogo. These pissy broke comic pros hate that. And that's why they hate it. So, as to be expected, they delegitimize it. They attempt to, and they do it in rounds. And we have yet another example of this. I was going to go straight to the Twitter, but if I can go through our bros over at Bounding in the Comics and their take on it, we can do that. But now it is Jerry Ordway. He believes Comicsgate supporters are being fleeced for hundreds of millions. According to DC Comics creator, the various successes of the Comicsgate movement are the result of Khan's supporters being fleeced. And this is his quote, being fleeced for hundreds of millions by affiliated creators. And this is the comment right now that you can see of a couple of these different guys, like Zurcher as well. He's saying, thinking, joining the Comicsgate, conning the robes, and then mailing them a woke, liberal, progressive comic. Why would you do that? You can do that with DC and Marvel. Here he goes mocking, talking about Hell Caesar salad, war something, which I don't even think that latter even considers themselves Comicsgate anymore. I don't know. Either way, just a bunch of crap. Here's what Jerry had to say right here. This was the hilarious one. So you're talking about comic pros. These are guys that work with the DC and the Marvels of the world. And this is what he had to say. It's really a shame that the liberals aren't throwing money at non-Comicsgate creators like the Comicsgate crowds are willing to do to own the libs. Because that's what he thinks is happening here. Where you're only buying the books to own the libs. I mean, look at the Trump crowd fundraising. They're being fleeced for hundreds of millions, he said. And I actually had a comment on this as well. And I said, and we can go to the comment here, it's because they are pissy broke. And this is referring to the liberals that he's confused as to, damn, wouldn't it be nice if we were laced? That's basically what he's saying without saying it. Wouldn't it be nice if we were bringing in that kind of money? And I said, it's because they're pissy broke and don't buy comics. This is why social justice advocate comic pros have trouble selling outside of big established brands like the Marvel and the DCs, etc. I said the pros do shit for likes and retweets from an unreliable demographic that don't actually buy books. So let me break down what exactly that means here. What I'm saying is that right now, modern comic books is appealing. This is why we have all these sexuality changes and other weird stuff. They're appealing to a demographic of people that, yes, they will retweet your stuff. A lot of these are like fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well. So they'll retweet, like your comments, follow you on Twitter, and like you on Instagram, cosplay your players, your characters that you're writing as well. They'll do all of that sort of stuff. But that doesn't necessarily translate into sales. We've seen that. There's numerous amounts of comic pros who have tried to do their own stuff from an independent standpoint, so not attached to the big two, and they are usually dead on arrival. right? See, what the big two has is a brand, right? And it's a brand that grew up having people that were a part of it and had characters that they liked. They were willing to invest in it in some way, be it as a customer or whatever it was. And they bought books, right? And some of them still do it. Marvel, DC, they have that because that established brand has been something that was established for years and obviously has supporters of all kinds of ilk. Now, they have pivoted, right? And they are now wanting to just only really, you have all these comic pros people that write these books, have, they're loudmouths on Twitter. Hell, I'm a loudmouth on Twitter, I guess, as well. But you get what it is that I'm saying. You know what their likes and dislikes are, and they don't like you. If you don't vote for them or vote for the people they want you to vote for, if you don't like mask mandates and vaccine mandates, the same old generic authoritarian leftist position that they have. And they have the benefit of being attached to those major brands, but when they detach themselves from that, they don't equal sales. They have maybe 100,000 plus likes or more so subscribers on any page that they may have on social media, but that doesn't translate to sales. That's why a lot of them are pissy broke. And that's why they are frustrated with folks that are within like these different communities, be it Comicsgate or whatever, because they are making comic books for people and the people are enthusiastic enough about it to purchase it voluntarily. And that is equaling people seeing a lot of success, raising a lot of money for their books, seeing a lot of money in revenue that they couldn't dare dream of having. So when you want to delegitimize that, what do? Well, you say that they're being fleeced. But really what this is, people, it's funny, these leftists always talk about coping and copium and all this stuff. That's exactly what this is. This is why he says it's really a shame that liberals aren't throwing money at non-Comicsgate creators. Basically saying it's sad that the non-Comicsgate creators are broke and these motherfuckers are making all this money. So yeah, he's trying to say it's snide and be snide in it. Looking at this right here, he's trying to be snide. Right. But this is what he is. He's coping with the idea that, or attempting to, with the idea that they aren't making the money. The leftists that they appeal to don't break them off like the Comicsgate fans are. The Comicsgate guys rock with they folk. If they like the work, if they're enthusiastic about it, they'll line them up. They'll buy the book. You weirdos are appealing to people that don't do that. And that's your own fucking mistake, because now you're balls deep. And you can't get out. You've appealed to this demographic. The entire mainstream industry right now is specifically catering to that demographic. So all the creators in the space, if they are a creator in that space, they either have to get in line or they feel like they have to suppress what they really think in order to play ball, so they continue to get these gigs, at least with the big two. That may be changing as well. You got my stuff that's coming out and all these other creators that are willing to pay artists especially decent amount of money. Now, the writers, I can't speak for. Y'all not going to be able to find work unless it's for the government. Those are the only people that would pay. And I wouldn't be surprised if the government bailed y'all out. But they'd be the only people that would pay for work that's shit, right? They'll do that. And I guess back in DC and Marvel will do it too. But you get what it is that I'm saying. There are people outside of that circle that are willing to pay artists that are tied to those or have done work for them. Pay them better. If you want to chase us down to get your money, we'll pay you better to do work. See, all of this, it's a hate group. All of this, I don't like this guy, I don't like that guy type of stuff, which is really irrelevant. All it boils down to is that these guys are fucking pissed that not only did some folks that were tied, like Ethan, I know pisses them off the most, because they thought his ostracism, which is what they did, his ostracism was going to equal him being broke. And obviously now he's making more money than what he ever made being a comic pro working for DC or Marvel. So that pisses them off. So he's seeing success and making more money than they ever could if they tried to do the same thing, right? So they try to delegitimize other people's movements. But it's not working. And to your point, Jerry, and I'm answering this honestly, Jerry, if you want to make money, stop trying to appeal to weirdos for likes, retweets, and to get headline articles. Headline articles, retweets, likes on these social media platforms do not equal sales. They don't. If they did, y'all will be rich, but you're not. A lot of y'all are pissy broke, and a lot of y'all are finding that you can't eat your comic books, right? You can't eat those comic books that you overprinted, or that, let's say, you maybe not even were able to get them printed because you couldn't crowdfund. The reason why those weirdos that you're referring to don't throw money at non-Comicsgate creators because they're not fans of comic books. They just like that maybe you dislike someone else that they personally dislike because they don't have the right politics or something like that. That's all that it amounts to. So you want to start making money? Make books for people that, I don't know, buy books. It's a simple method. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.